Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Football Palestine Extra, where we break down everything that has happened in the world of Palestinian football. Last week, as you may remember, we sort of tabled the discussion on transfers and focused a little bit on refereeing. And I think that was justified because this week we've got a lot to talk about when it comes to transfers. We're going to focus on some other stuff just to begin with to kind of wrap up the topic we spoke about last week. Look, the PFA is trying to get FIFA's attention to look into what happened in their match against Oman. My sources confirm to me that there has been a response from FIFA. It was very strident, basically saying that the referee's decision is final and you cannot appeal this. I think to be expected, really. And I don't think the protest was so much that about the referee's decision. It was about how the decision was taken. Because if the referee had, I think, gone through the right process, he would have ended up at the monitor. And if he had ended up at the monitor, then we could at least be certain of his decision, somewhat, right? Because then he's having a better look at what happened. Instead, having looked at this a bunch of times over the last almost month since it's happened, I just cannot see how the decision resulted in a penalty, right? I think something happened very quickly, theatrical fall, protest on the bench, and the referee blew his whistle. But 15 players in the box. He's a fair bit away from it. It's not his linesman that made the call. VAR did look at it. At least that's what we were told, looking at the broadcast, that there was a VAR review, so to speak, and that they confirmed the referee's decision. They didn't see a clear error. Again, until like a qualified referee can come to me and explain to me as to why this is a penalty, I will have a hard time accepting it. Now we will have to accept it because we will have to move on in Palestinian football. We have to kind of focus on the next games that are coming up, and like it or not, they're probably going to play round 4 without us. They're going to generate 2 more teams, maybe even a 3rd team through the playoff through Asia to qualify. I think we deserved to continue our fight, and nothing will really change my opinion. But in the world of football, sometimes there is injustice, especially with international football, especially when you are dependent on referees that maybe aren't the best. And Mawad Bunyadi Fard, I think, having researched him quite a bit in the aftermath, much maligned from his time that he spent in Indonesia as a guest referee, took a bunch of weird decisions. And just 10 days before refereeing Palestine versus Oman was the referee of the Hasfi Cup, that's Iran's FA Cup, and really took a bunch of decisions that favored Istiqlal, and he's sort of known as a pro-Istiqlal referee. So I'm not sure what will come out of this. I know that the PFA is studying the possibility of an appeal. The fact of the matter is that I've never seen an individual instance of where a referee's decision was taken to CAS and then overturned, right? And when we kind of look at the past examples, we spoke about that famous Uzbekistan-Bahrain match for the 2006 World Cup qualifying cycle. We spoke about Senegal against South Africa for Russia 2018 in African qualifiers. Those circumstances were very different, right? In 2006, the referee, it wasn't his decision. It was a misapplication of the law. For whatever reason, he thought if there's encroachment on a penalty, there's no need to retake it. It just goes into it's a free kick for the opposition, which obviously was a misapplication of the rules. The fact that it was replayed was an historic decision. Fast forward a decade or so later, and the entire reason why we got to see a replay of South Africa versus Senegal was because Joseph Lampety was caught taking bribes. And then this was obvious that oh yeah, he called a foul here, or he called it for a handball when there was no handball, was brought into the game was brought into disrepute. They had to replay it. This is just not the case right now with Mohamed bin Adifad. I do think that there could be something, but there's just no evidence, right? There's no evidence to say, oh, well, we looked at the betting markets and there was some weird spike when there shouldn't have been a spike, or one of the referees is compromised. We don't know. And when you don't know, there's a presumption of innocence. Now, I think any neutral who looks at that just shakes their head and says, okay, that was given a penalty, made a mistake. They went, you guys don't have VAR? I said, no, we have VAR. They didn't send the referee to the monitor. It's a farce. We will see. We will continue to monitor the story. I will bring you updates as soon as I know more. Just don't think that in September there will be a replay of this match, because the way things are unfolding right now, it is just not trending in that direction, if that makes sense. So let's leave that aside for now, because other things have happened in Palestinian football. You've got the women's team playing qualification matches to attempt to qualify for the Asian Cup next year. Things didn't get out to the best start. They lost to Malaysia 1-0. They have a match today against Korea DPR, which is super tough match, 9th best team in the world. So not trending well there either. Maybe we'll talk about it next week once qualifiers have been completed. But I do think that team is improving bit by bit. I'm just not sure we'll see them qualify for the Asian Cup this time around. Okay, transfers. That's what we started this episode teasing, talking about. And this is what we're really going to focus on here. And there was a couple of players that we could see movement this week. We've already seen a lot of rumors. You know the characters involved. Wessam Abou Ali, Assad Al-Hamlawi, Adam Kayed. Those are the three main ones. Now, if we're going to talk about transfers, we actually have to talk about one that actually did take place. That was Nabhan. It's been almost 2 weeks now. He was unveiled officially as a Wehdat player. I think that is a transfer that is a smart one for the club, a good one for the player. Look, he signed for Al Jazeera last year. He had a good season, both defensively and going forward. The Jordanian fans got to know him for his attacking qualities, because he was always, going up, getting forward, providing assists. And this is great now. Left back was a problem position for Palestine, and now I think you have two left backs, both born in the 21st century. Ahmed Taha, born 2001. Wajdi, I believe, is either born 2002 or 2003. Just slips my memory which year. But again, two young guys that are going to be part of the national team for a very long time to come if they keep their level. And that was something we were looking for since Abdullah Jabir left the national team. We left or exiled, depending on your interpretation of what exactly happened. So that's great. And I think this is going to be an opportunity for the player to prove himself at a big club. And if he does well here, then the doors will open, I think, in other leagues, right? But he can spend a year, 2 years at Wehdat. I think it would be really good for his development. And this is, I think one of the players from the Olympic team that Ihab Abu Jazlan had a couple of years ago that we really wanted him to go abroad, to test himself, to push himself, and to develop bit by bit. And we're seeing that, and I think that's really good. His success also opens up doors, I think, for his teammates at Olympic level, that other clubs in Jordan will look at them and will attempt to sign them. We spoke a little bit about how the rules in Libya are changing. So it's not going to be so friendly to Palestinian players, because we're not going to have that exemption. And without that exemption, it means you have to go to other leagues. It might mean taking a significant pay cut for some players, but I think the Jordanian league is convinced with the talents that the Palestinian league has produced in the recent years. And obviously, we're nowhere near getting the league back up and running again. So Jordan might be a refuge for a lot of the players who will be without a club or who are currently without a club. I say might be without a club, because we still have Libya and Lebanon, whose leagues have not finished just yet. Okay, so Wajid Nabhan in the books. He's going to Wehdat. Who else could we see making a move? Let's put Wessam Abou Ali to the side, because there are actually some transfers that I think are about to take place. First and foremost, Assad Al-Hamlawi. We got the shock news last week that he left Schwansk Wroclaw. That's a mouthful. But he left Schwansk's training camp, and he was looking to get a move done. He was trying to put pressure on the club to force a move. Now, where could he be going? Now, a lot of people said Al-Ahli is interested, and what Al-Ahli will do quite smartly is go back to the same talent pool, a Scandinavian Palestinian forward that's had a good season at the top tier of a European club, fits the same profile as Wessam. Let's bring him in. He doesn't count as a foreign player. Maybe we buy him for $1 million. We sell Wessam at a profit, maybe for 5, for 10, something in between. And we keep our momentum going. This is something that I actually suggested on social media, and then it turned out that there was actual interest. I'm not sure it will happen now, because what we've learned in recent days that the club that I think Assad Al-Hamlawi is angling for is Universitatea Craiova. That's a Romanian club. They finished third in the league, and I believe they will have European football next season. So that's the club he wants to join. Craiova wasn't actually too far away from winning the league. I think he feels, hey, if I go there and I score goals, this team can take a jump, can take the leap forward, can compete for the league, can compete for the cup, can do well in Europe. This is what I was looking for when I joined Śląsk Wrocław in the winter. They got relegated. I don't want to play in the second division of Polish football. I already did that, right? I mean, he came from the second division in Sweden. I don't think he has much of an appetite to go play in the second division again. If there's a chance for European football, he'll want to go and get it. And then I'm not so sure if he wants to leave Europe to go to Al-Ahli. I mean, that depends a lot on the perspective of the player. Obviously, Al-Ahli is a massive club, but it comes with a huge pressure. Like, you have to hit the ground running if you play for Al-Ahli or if you play for Zamalek. There's not going to be a lot of patience. And I think Assad is probably thinking, okay, it worked for Wessam, interesting. Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. This could be a transfer saga that lasts a very long time, because what we learned was that Craiova actually didn't pay the release clause.